I had to tell you about my time and say hi to Cipo. It was one of the most fun times I can ever remember having in my entire life. There's only one word to describe that national park, and it is spectacular. Everything there was a spectacle. When I first showed up, the guy Hugo at the hotel told me there was 96 waterfalls in the park. Well, he was not exactly right. It was more like 9,600 or maybe 96,000. It was one of the craziest things that I've seen. They get a ton of rain in this park, and there's mountains and hills all over the place. So everywhere you turn around, there's waterfalls. Some are a foot, some are a meter, some are 10 meters, some are 100 meters, some are 200 meters, but they're just everywhere. There was one time where we were hiking, we looked out, we saw over 8 100-meter plus waterfalls in this one valley. It was absolutely incredible. But the best part of the entire time was Rodrigo from Treehouse de Cipo. This guy was incredible. He had so much enthusiasm, so much passion, so much zest for what he does. He takes people out. He drove us to the top of the mountain, and we crossed into the park. It wasn't exactly the official border of the park, but we went in there anyway. We just started hiking through, and the ground was wet. You know, you step, the ground would squish beneath you because there was so much water, and it was funny just to see. It was like you're walking in a stream. But anyway, he was so excited he could barely contain himself. He was like, because it's been raining so much, you guys are going to see amazing stuff. So we're hiking, and we were kept saying, "Shuvia no," meaning it's not going to rain, it's not going to rain. We want it to be clear so we can walk through. Well, sure enough, within 30 minutes or so, it started to rain. Then it started to rain heavier. Then it started to rain heavier. Finally, it was an absolute downpour. He found us some shelter, which was really cool. In this little out cave, there was prehistoric drawings of a deer and some other things. I got a couple pictures of it that I'll post after this. So we waited in there, and then the rain finally subsided, like maybe 10, 15 minutes later, and we had lunch. We went out, and he just starts shouting, belting at the top of his voice, screaming like a maniac. We're like, what is going on? We walk out of the cave and make a right, and we see this waterfall. It's probably about maybe 15 meters high, but there was tens of thousands of gallons, maybe hundreds of thousands of gallons per second dumping over this waterfall. It was really, really crazy to see something with so much force, so much energy that close. So we saw it from maybe 10 or 20 meters away, and we kept getting closer and closer and closer to where we were standing pretty much on top of a rock that was right in front of the waterfall. There's steam and mist pouting all over the place. It was really incredible. I got some great photos there. But that wasn't enough. We turned around, we hiked down a little bit more, came up to another waterfall that was just as spectacular and pumping just as much water. And there's this giant rock in the middle, and I couldn't believe this rock could withstand the force of all the water that was rushing behind it. Got some pictures there also. So we stopped and we're talking, and Rodrigo points up there and he says, "You see that?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Well, when there's not so much water, usually we cross there." So I was like, "Okay, you know, it's been raining like every single day the last 4 days that I've been here. If we don't cross, it's fine." He said, "Yeah, that's okay." Maybe 10 minutes later, we're walking by the river, and he's looking down. He's checking it out. I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Well, I just want to see." I'm like, "All right." And he's like, "All right, wait here." So I'm with two other people, and we're waiting there. He goes on up ahead, and he breaks this like switch off a tree. It's probably about, maybe yay long, 4 feet long or so. And he's like poking down into the river, and the river's rushing fast. You know, the river's going way, way fast. I'm like, there's no way we're going in there. He disappears. He comes back like 5, 10 minutes later. He's like, "All right, we can't cross up there." We're like, "Okay, no problem." Then he's like, "Wait." Goes into the river right where we're standing, starts putting his stick down, and then he starts wading in the water. And he's like, "We're going to cross this." We're like, "What do you mean? You just told us we can't cross it." He's like, "We're going to cross it." So we had to link arms. We're holding arms, arm in arm like this. And we're wading through this water. First it's ankle high, maybe it's about knee high, and the water was moving fast. It had to be moving good 20, 25 miles an hour. And we're wading through this water. We crossed this river. It's probably about 20 meters or so across. It was one of the wildest experiences just to feel the force of the water wanting to sweep you down. But we're holding on to each other, you know, for dear life. It's really incredible. And I'm glad that we did, because on the other side of that waterfall, we went down a few hundred meters, and there was the most incredible waterfall that we saw, because it was one where the water shoots out and then straight down, so it created this crazy splash effect, and there was steam and mist all over the place. Like, literally couldn't see. I wear glasses, so my glasses were all fogged up and watered up. I couldn't see anything. We hopped in the water there, we swam. It was cool. You know, it was really one of the most fun experiences, but there was nothing just like sharing the energy that Rodrigo had for it. His company is called Trilhas do Cipo. I highly, highly recommend that if you're going to go to Brazil, this is definitely one of the best things you're going to see. So hit up Rodrigo. I put the link for his website, his company, in the description for the video. You will not be disappointed. It was absolutely amazing, spectacular. I can't say enough about how cool it was to see so many waterfalls, hundreds of waterfalls everywhere. So much rain, especially coming from somewhere like Southern California where, we've had a drought for a long time. To see an area that's just so flush with water was really a surreal experience and one of the most fun times I can remember having in a very, very long time. I felt like I was a little kid. I hope you have a wonderful day. Love you all. Peace.